Hello and welcome. This is a very special show. This is a very special show where we celebrate Ravichandran Ashwin. Devashish joins me, Bharat joins me. I think Shubhayan and Rohit will also join unless they are doing a Hindi live. I think they were. But we have lots to talk about, lots to show you. Lots to show you. Let me start with that clip that Devashish had sent us, the Ravichandran Ashwin announcement, and then we will go into plenty more. This is a storytelling session almost. Gargi, can we have that Ravichandran Ashwin clip, please, where he announces his retirement? There's a lot of clips, by the way. This is the first one that we will show you.
I really didn't want to make this about myself. Honestly, I think it would have been better if Bumrah was here or Akashdeep was here. But Rohit is unfortunate to have me along his side. Since he said announced, I'm not going to take too much of your time. This will be my last day as an Indian cricketer in all formats at the international level. I do feel there's a bit of punch left in me as a cricketer, but I would like to expose and probably showcase that in club level cricket. But this will be the last day, and I've had a lot of fun. I must say I've created a lot of memories alongside Rohit and several of my other teammates, even though I've lost some of them over the last few years. We are the last bunch of OGs, if we can say that, left out in the dressing room, and I would be marking this as my date of having played at this level. Obviously, there are a lot of people to thank, but I would be failing in my duties if I didn't thank the BCCI and the fellow teammates. Several of them. I want to name a few of them. So all the coaches who've been a part of the journey. Most importantly, Rohit, Virat, Ajinkya, Pujara, who've taken those splendid catches around the bat to give me the number of wickets I've managed to get over the years. Also, a big thank you to the Australian cricket team, who've been very fierce competitors. I've enjoyed my time playing against them. And I think it's already getting long. I wouldn't be taking any questions, but it's truly a very emotional moment. I don't think I'm in a position where I would be answering the questions in the right way. So please pardon me for that. And once again, yeah, that's my time. Thanks for being the journalist that you've been, writing good things and, of course, writing nasty things on occations. And that's a relationship I think we would maintain forever. And I hope the cricketers to come in the future will also get the same amount of love that you've given them. Once again, thank you all. And yeah, see you all soon. As a cricketer, I've just stopped it, and I might go on to be involved with the game because this is a game that's given me everything. Right? Thank you.
Trisha also joins me, and that's the first clip. That's the first clip. We will play plenty more. But let me start with taking stories. I will start with you, Devashish. You've covered Ashwin, then I'll go to Trisha, Bharat. Tell me an Ashwin story that you will remember. I will ask Trisha as well. Trisha, I'm giving you the situation. When Ashwin, you can think about it when Devashish answers. When Ashwin left that ball to Mohammad Nawaz and Virat Kohli finished it off and Ashwin finished it off against Pakistan, that wide in the T20 World Cup, the ball that he left of Mohammad Nawaz. India needed some 3-4 runs. By the way, she's gone. Bharat, you can take that. The Mohammad Nawaz wide that Ashwin left. What does it take mentally to be able to leave that ball with that level of pressure and then play that shot mid-off to win it for India? But before that, Devashish, your Ashwin.
Who would have thought that Ashwin will call it a day in this ongoing series? And the best memory we have already shared in our last live broadcast means it happened in Adelaide. It happened during the pink ball test, just in one of the practice. I think it was the final practice session before the test match, and both Ashwin was walking with a few of the support staff. He had a chocolate in his hand. And suddenly he offered me, have the chocolate. I said, come on, I'm a diabetic. What still reverberates in my mind is that, अरे एक chocolate खा के आपको क्या होगा? Just have the chocolate. So that is Ashwin for me. Means obviously he comes across as a very, very humble person. Means there is nothing in it that he being such a great cricketer, but that. Obviously, that is what will stay with me, Ravichandran Ashwin, and obviously that 2013 Champions Trophy, he being a part of that team, 2011 World Cup. These are memories that will stay with me forever, and obviously slowly taking the mantle of being the spin spirit and having followed his journey. It's incredible. It's incredible. And the stats that was shared in our group, 67, 65 test matches in India and not to be dropped once. That itself speaks volumes of his what to say, fitness, his longevity, his discipline, and that is Ashwin. And that will be very special for me. What do you
Bharat, your Ashwin memory on.
Yeah, obviously there are a lot of memories. As I said, I start by going back to some 2009 or 2010. That they were South Zone were taking on Central Zone or East Zone, and first things he took no wickets. I just switched on the TV thinking that my MBA, I had done my MBA, so now let me do some time pass, and they not taken a single wicket in the first innings. I thought, yeah, must be the run of the male spinner. But here he comes in the second innings, takes some 6 for 78 or something on those lines, and then scores a 50. And then I start to think maybe this cricketer is much better than my initial thoughts. He looks like someone who searches for continuous improvement, and some 14 years later, he goes on to take 537 test wickets and 3,500 runs. Yeah, there are a lot more memories. Cleaning up Nuwan Kulasekara, maybe it was a Champions Trophy match, from round the wicket to the carom ball. Then I think in one of the IPL games, maybe he was playing for Rajasthan Royals against KKR. Andy Russell was batting. He went slightly wide of the crease, and then again came back to mid crease and took down Andy Russell, cleaned him up. Obviously, his wicket of Chris Gale again in the IPL. So yeah, there are a lot more memories. Maybe very recently, Oli Pope from round the wicket again, he cleaned him up. Or especially that wicket of Kane Williamson, I guess in 2012. I don't remember the exact year. He was bringing him forward, and then he shortened his length and got it to turn and yeah, castled him. So a lot of deliveries, a lot of memories. Obviously, Shane Watson's wicket as well, 2011 World Cup. Plenty of memories. Great servant of Indian cricket, and one of India's greatest cricketers, no doubt about that.
Let's hear what Rohit Sharma said. Let's hear what Rohit Sharma said. As I said, watch this show. We will continue for a while. We've got lots in store. We've got lots in store. Let's hear what Rohit Sharma said about Ravichandran Ashwin today at the press conference. Gargi.
See, some decisions are very personal, and I don't think too many questions should be asked or raised. If a player has a choice, he has to be given that choice. And somebody like Ashwin, who's been there for us for so many years, is allowed to make those kind of decisions on his own. And we as teammates, have to respect it. And he was very sure about what he wanted to do, and the team has complete backing of his thought process. And obviously there's a bit of gap now, so for us as a team to regroup and collect our thoughts on this, is very, very crucial right now. So we've got some time in between, so we can think about how we need to proceed further. But speaking about Ash, he was very, very sure about this decision.
He was very, very sure of his decision. Let's ask this of Devashish Sen. Let's ask this. You think it's a correct call? You think it's a correct call, and because at this point in time, 5 more test matches in England. Had it been a home series again, maybe the call would have been deferred a little bit. Trisha also joins. Trisha, the question that I asked Bharat, and I will ask you if you can hear me. When
Yeah.
Your Ashwin memory, but also tell me when he left that delivery to Mohammad Nawaz. Imagine what mental framework someone might have to be able to leave that wide with 1.3 billion people praying. Virat Kohli had played the innings of his lifetime. If India lost, everybody would skin Ashwin alive, and the ball bowls the leg, he just leaves it and gets a wide, takes a run, and then finishes it off. I will ask Devashish the question, but before that, Trisha, your first thoughts. Devashish, I'll ask you about the timing of the retirement. Trisha, you go now.
Absolutely. I think that shows the kind of mental strength that Ashwin has. For him to be able to leave that ball and be that and do that calmly in that situation. I think when he left the ball, I mean, it showed he's that calm. Probably, in his interviews it has come across that he's not calm internally, but to keep that calmness on the face and leave the ball that confidently, it takes a lot. And I think Ashwin has shown that under pressure, this man has tremendous tremendous qualities.
Unfortunately, I think StreamYard is giving Trisha a bit of trouble. You're
No,
back.
I
Yes, tell
just
me.
got a call. Yeah, I just got a call. That's why. As I was saying, I think under pressure, the tremendous calmness that he showed, it was brilliant. And I call him a genius. Something like Steve Smith, Manush Labuschagne, someone like an Ashwin. They read so much on the game, about the game. It was an absolute pleasure to have seen him bowl. About the time of retirement, we can still discuss that. Because I don't know if I'm.
Devashish, your thoughts, timing?
I think obviously one of the major reason I feel was his knee. In recent times, his knee has troubled him a lot, and also mm, he definitely he as Rohit Sharma mentioned in the press conference that as soon as he landed in Australia, there were discussions that because he could quite surely understand that he is definitely not in the scheme of things, and with the emergence of Washington Sundar, so that might have transpired him to take this decision, which was a harsh call. Remember, India plays two Test matches, which is going to be spin friendly in MCG and in Sydney. So two best conditions where spin will be a major factor. There he is not playing. So definitely there is a message that has been he got some messages that he might not be looked at as the second spinner. So that might have transpired him to take such a decision. I think Buriada, because clearly Washington Sundar played that first Test match, then Ashwin played that pink ball test, and then again Ravindra Jadeja. With Jadeja performing with the bat, there were no two doubts that Jadeja will keep his place for that Boxing Day test. So obviously, to play that second spinner, you have someone like a Washington Sundar. So clearly, that might have influenced Ravichandran Ashwin to take this harsh call, because clearly he must have felt that he does not have a chance in these two test matches that are going to come.
Let's set this show up with a clip that I will ask Gargi to play now. If you have to understand Ravichandran Ashwin, you must listen to this conversation. This little clip of Ravichandran Ashwin, you must listen to understand what this man is made of. In my book, when you are able to brave pain and kind of go beyond your pain threshold, push your body for yourself, for your country, for your team, that is when you become someone special. And that is what, for me, will forever be the Ravichandran Ashwin that I know. Gargi Rao, can you please play the clip where he's talking? And because it's the Australia series, it is pertinent. Can you play the clip where he's talking about what happened to him in Sydney and how he was able to do that? Play that clip, and I will go to Bharat, Trisha, and Devashish and take comments and also take questions. But please play that clip first of Sydney.
Back to Sydney, you were standing there. You were standing for 3 hours. Bharat told me, Hanuma told me, I've spoken to everybody. You could not even sit. Give me a sense, man. I mean, what? And you were telling me off camera what happened. This I can ask you. Tell me on camera. How did you manage that?
So again, right, every time something happens to my body, right, this was very freakish. It's like I even went to the extent of studying exercise science. What is happening with my body? Why is my body giving up? And then I put everything to bed. Like, I started training, like we all do exercises in the gym, right? We lift, we do deadlifts, we do squats. I wanted to understand how these are translating into movement patterns on the ground. So I started my gym exercise and working out exercises the way I was playing on the field. And I thought I had put to bed all those sort of injuries and limitations I had, because when I came out, my body felt fresh. And I had put everything to bed, went to Melbourne, the Sydney test was going on, we could draw the test match, we had a chance of winning the test match, and suddenly I turn up on day 5, was it, when the declaration happened, sorry, day 4. So what happens in Sydney, I'm sure you're aware, everywhere else they'll give you the bowling place just besides the pitch, where there is a pitch. It's hard. But in Sydney, they give you the outer surface, which is full of sand. So because we had bowled for the first 4 days, the footholds were big, and I went and just warmed up and bowled the first ball. My toe landed and the toe stuck inside the hole and my upper body twisted. And I'm like, ouch, that hurt. And one of the hips went down and the other hip went up. And I was wincing in lower back pain, and I didn't know how to do it. And then I went to Nitin, the physio, and I said, it's paining. He said, okay, lie down. And he took a look and they said, the left toe is in front and the right toe is in back. So it was that bad. And he kept rotating my hip, got it into position. But whatever said and done, the damage had been done. He gave me a really powerful painkiller. I took the painkiller and kept bowling. It was painful because it took me 2 overs for the pain barrier to cross. I bowled 2 overs at Steven Smith and Manas Labuschagne, just darting the ball so that my body got into, the pain, got used to it. I got used to the pain. And once I bowled the 2 overs, I kept going for 14 overs. I told Ajinkya and Rohit that I cannot stop. If you stop me, I can't bowl again. So I went for 14 overs. And then my body was in pure shape and they declared, and then I went in. Little did I know that I was going to have the worst night of my life. So when I went after dinner, like I was just sitting, stretching, I went after dinner to lie down. My back didn't go down. Like I couldn't go down. So literally I put a towel underneath my back, held my hip up, and then went to sleep. I thought usually with back spasm, if you take a painkiller, the next morning is better. So the next morning I was awake. My mind was telling me to get up, but I couldn't. I couldn't turn left, turn right, or get up. And I kept yelling out. We were in 2 rooms. My kids were there. So my wife sleeps with the kids to give me space to sleep. So I was shouting about 25 times before my wife came up. The children were helping me hold my hands, and she just pulled me up and I couldn't get up. So I just got on all fours, and even all fours were paining. So I called Yogesh. Nitin didn't pick up the phone. The other physio, I crawled outside the door, kept yelling for Yogesh. He came, he gave me a medicine, he gave me a painkiller, lifted me and just put me in the shower. So after I put some hot water on my back, it started warming up. And then I don't know how I even went to the game. So it was really painful. Put the bag, and my daughter held my shorts because I couldn't. So she just pushed the shorts up, and as she was pushing my shorts, I was like tearing up in pain. And my wife looked at me and said, "You're going to go and play a game?" I said, "I have to do it." But when I came back, when she called me after the game, I was sitting outside giving that immediate after game interview. My wife sent a message, "You actually did play." So it was quite, and she told me how my daughters were cheering, how they were watching the game. She was teaching them the game. I just felt that particular day, forget about the performances, whatever it is, that particular day in Sydney with pain, with injury, Ashwin could have shirked off. The same place where Sydney, a lot of people felt I shirked off, is where it was meant to happen, and I was so pleased.
Each time I hear this, I have a lump in my throat. Each time I hear this. Who wants to go first? Bharat, you want to go first before I go to Trisha and Devashish?
Yeah, incredible to hear him talking about that back problem, how he couldn't get up, how he couldn't move left or move right in the morning. And then for him to go out and play that kind of an innings. Remember, he was hit on the rib, I guess, by Pat Cummins in an over a couple of times too. So he kept batting, he and Hanuma Vihari. Incredible to hear him talking about it behind the scenes, how he went through how he somehow erased the fine lines of pain and agony, and went and played that kind of a battling innings against the Australian pace bowlers.
Devashish?
For me, that stands out for Ashwin is that he will give it his all. Means I'm not talking about other cricketers, but especially to Ashwin, and that example is it, and it is a perfect example. The way he sacrificed his own problem and did it for the country, he gave it his best. I mean, he can die for the country on a cricket field. That is what Ashwin to me is. Means I can vouch for him. Means obviously he has done it in time and again, and I think 9 out of 10 times means one would have thought of whether I would go and play. Means whether I would, because what happens is that you might also risk of letting your country down. But for Ashwin, the player he has always put country at top, and his performance in that Sydney Test was incredible with such pain, with such a lot of pain, and that is what Ashwin is. I mean, and if we recollect, one would remember that Anil Kumble bowling with that bandage in the jaw in West Indies, and this is the second instance where Ashwin, with that pain, with that painkiller, and the most emotional part of that clip was when he could not put his pan, when he could not put his shots, his daughter helping him. Incredible means, these are the memories that will stay with us for a long time.
Trisha, there's a super chat. Gargi, can you play the super chat? I'll put Trisha on the hot seat. Take this, Trisha.
Mr. B, nice name. Mr. B, of course, B for Boria. We Ashwin fans would argue exceptional average of 24. Kumble fans will argue 600 plus wickets and placid home pitches. How do you see this? All-time India Test 11 one spinner slot given conditions. Ashwin, Kumble or someone else? Oh, wow. And you have not even mentioned Harbhajan Singh. You have not even, my God, no. This ये तो मतलब हमाकत हो जाएगा कुछ भी किसी का भी नाम pick up करना. One spinner, how can I pick up? No way. I think all of them are greats in their own way. This is too much. So I will quickly leave the ball much like Ashwin did to Mohammad Nawaz, and get a wide probably. But Boriada, on the incident, I actually want to say something. I know we are talking about Ashwin, the cricketer, and a lot of things about Ashwin, but think of his daughters. What an example to his daughters about the commitment that he has got. Uh, his daughter helping out, then they actually watch their father in that much pain fulfill his commitment towards the country, towards the team, most importantly. And be out there, give it his 500 1000%. I think he said in the end that Preeti was teaching the daughters the game. I think the daughters learned way more than cricket that day, and this will stay on, I think, as and for Ashwin, that Sydney innings, especially Ashwin and Pujara, of course, but we'll talk about Pujara on a separate way. I think that is one thing I pick up about Ashwin. I read it in the book, how many times he has gone through different health issues, and how he has made a comeback. I think that is where he is more inspirational. Yes, the exceptional average, yes, the 600 plus wickets, but ultimately it is also about the commitment. I think both Anil Kumble, Ashwin, and all other players in their own way, but yes, I think Ashwin's Sydney match, I remember it was a standout. It was inspirational. I got this video edited, and I remember I had heard this part so many times, because it still gives you goosebumps. As you said, a lump in your throat, it still gives you goosebumps, because you're imagining how can someone who is not even able to stand up be out there and face the music of Australian bowlers for such a long time. Hats off to him. Absolutely.
Karthik Chintamani, good question. You were talking about Chandra, Bedi, and Prasanna. Prasanna 189 wickets perhaps doesn't do justice. Bishanji 266, Chandra one of the greatest ever. But when you understand, and I understand where you're coming from, saying that why are we only putting Anil and Ashwin into this, and why not somebody like a Chandra who was brilliant. If you see Chandra's career, even home, there are ups and downs. And if you go read the newspapers, read Indian history, Indian cricket history, even when he was picked for England before that, in that series against the West Indies, he was dropped as well. So it's not as if Chandra's career was right up there. Secondly, modern day cricket, Ashwin's contributions with the bat are as important as anything. There is no Ashwin without the 3,500 runs, or whatever number of runs, something like that, right? 3,500. There is no Ashwin story without the 3,500 runs and the 600s. So when you take Ashwin as a package, I think he's ahead. He is ahead. Coming to the question that was asked, that was a tough question. I'd actually go to 2002 Headingley, and it's a cloudy sky. Saurav Ganguly is still bowled. I would want a better batting unit so that I can play two of my best spinners. Why is it that you have to play one? Why? Tell me. Why is it that you play three fast bowlers? You do play three fast bowlers, right? What stops you from playing two of your premier spinners? Imagine one end top. And by the way, you're talking about peak Anil, peak Ashwin. So imagine one end is Anil, one end is Ashwin. Come on, boss. In what conditions? One end is Anil and one end is Ashwin. Why not? Why not? Do that. Let get your batters get you 200, they'll finish it off. And on good wickets, boss. You don't need rank turners where a Glenn Phillips becomes a spinner. No. On good wickets, give it to them and see what happens, what drama unfolds. So I think that is how I would have treated it. And my answer, as their captain, had picked both. If I'm given Anil Kumble and Ravichandran Ashwin, am I stupid not to pick them both? I'd pick them both. But Devashish, before the show, had called me and he said, do share some stories. By the way, I stay in the heart of North Calcutta. I stay in the heart of North Calcutta, very old Calcutta. And there are these many small shops around which, still sell very local fare. For example, kachoris and, sabji in the morning. And it's a ritual. When we go to our bazaar, we'd stand there, have a jalebi, two kachoris, very Bengali. But we do that. So Ashwin comes home and is a friend. One prepares, okay, he will eat something, etc., etc. It was Ashwin and Ajinkya. So both of them come home and I said, okay, so what do you want to eat? Let's have lunch, this, that. He said, no, you keep talking about that kachori and local sabji. Can you get us that? And Lududa, who Trisha and Bharat and Devashish, all of them know, he's one of our darlings. Lududa is our office superintendent and manager. So Lududa was given the responsibility of getting the kachori and the jalebi from the local shop. And that is what we feasted on. We spent, 2-3 hours chatting and just chatting. He would come to my room, 2010, I think 10, 11, Sri Lanka, and we would just talk. At that point, there was not this kind of formality in cricket. We would just sit and chat. Devashish will remember, Atul would come, Ashwin would come, me in my room in Sri Lanka, and that would be wild. We just chat. We'll talk stories, we'll bitch, we'll chat, we'll have fun. Completely all cricket talk, but incredible stuff. And okay, one more story before I go to the Trisha again. Now, I was actually having a chat with him. When was this? Some time back. Trisha knows this story. Last show I said it during the ban. And some days back, we were talking about it and I reminded him. I said, you remember that I was coming back from Birmingham and you were there for me? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, Trisha was with me on the flight. I was actually waiting outside. She was in economy, I was in business. And both of us walked to the escalator and he was standing at the top of the escalator. Trisha will remember. And he stood there, gave me a hug and he said, I was waiting for you. I said, why? He said, no, because you're good for sport. Everything will be all right. And that's when he left. I reminded him about 2 weeks back. And you know what he wrote to me? I'll read it out. I'll read it out. What 2-3 weeks back, and I said we were actually talking about the conclave, and I said this is what you had done, and this is what it is. Where is it? Okay. Okay, why don't I take a question and I'll figure this out. Just look at the series. Lion has been more of a holding bowler. Karthik Chintamani, good question. Bharat, do you want to take that? That even Lion has looked more of a holding bowler. So are we picking out on the Indian spinners? Bharat, take that. I'll figure that
out. There hasn't been much for spinners in this particular series. So it is unexpected lines like Nathan Lyon himself has been playing more of a holding role. Even if you think about the Gabba test, a lot of rain around. I know in the past Gabba used to help off spinners who'd impart over spin because of the bounce. But if you look at the Gabba test this time around, there has been a lot of rain around. So yeah, a bit of moisture might help spinners, but it's very difficult in those conditions because if the ball becomes even slightly wet, then a spinner can't really come into play. So expected lines, ping ball test, you don't expect the spinners really to come into play because it's mostly about fast bowlers getting some movement. Yeah, in the Perth test, maybe in the last innings of that Perth test, because of a few cracks around, there was a little bit in it for spinners, but that was on the fourth or right at the fag end of the fourth day or something on those lines. So, yes, there hasn't been much for spinners. So, we can't really go after India spinners either. They have done they have done their role. Even Washington Sundar, inexperience, considering his inexperience, I think he has done his role decently well at the in the Perth test. Even Ashwin did, I think, a decent job in the ping ball test. He was kind of experimenting. He was really luring someone like Travis said to play shots. And in this particular test, again, Gabba, there wasn't much in it for Ravindra Jadeja's style of bowling, especially against left-handed batters, for him to really come into play. So when you consider that, I think it's mainly about a spinner being more of a batsman in these kind of conditions. I think that is where I guess Ravindra Jadeja rightly got the nod for this Gabba test.
But sir, why he chosen for this series if he made of his time? Rohit said he convinces for pink ball test communication must be better for fans. I don't see that as a problem. Trisha, do you? I mean, if somebody feels that it's time to call it a day, he has called it a day and has not held on to a position. He could have easily done that, but I don't see that as a problem, Trisha.
In fact, I see that as a very, very positive move from Ashwin, to be honest. Yes, as a fan, if you ask me, I'm heartbroken. I'm not disappointed, but yes, I'm heartbroken that, Ashwin decided to retire. But having said that, considering Ravi Ashwin and considering the fact that he would have been a permanent stay in the squad, he could have sat and ate that position up, if. But he did not. He decided that probably this is the time when India should move on to youngsters, and India is moving on towards, maybe Washington Sundar. Then why not give up that space and let someone new, let someone young probably come in, and the team will be built better. Because I think the other part also is there's very little chances. I mean, there are chances, but I think the chances of us qualifying for the WTC final is pretty bleak right now, if I'm not wrong, right, Bharat and Devashish?
Yeah, maybe it depends on slow rates.
Correct, correct.
India,
So
if India win
there
the
are a lot of
series,
factors. It's not a
Australia.
straight up thing. Correct. It's not a straight up thing. So I think from now on, it is about building a team for the next WTC cycle. And I think rightly so that, he retired, because in the next cycle, he does not see himself featuring. So perfectly fine. The other part of it is, I found it interesting initially when Rohit said that, oh, he wanted to retire right in the beginning, and then I stopped him in the Perth test. But that also shows how Rohit, as a captain, was very clear with his communication that we want you for the pink ball test. And again, Ashwin's commitment, he waited for that. He finished the pink ball test duties, and in the last two test matches, I think again, probably if the second spinner comes in, that would be Washington Sundar. Rightly so, because in the next WTC cycle, you would need more of Washington Sundar. So that practice is important. So I think this was a perfect call, and I don't see any issues. I just see a lot of clear communication. The other part, a clear communication to the media as well. That this is what happened, this is what we decided, this is what we did.
So
Just a
on
few
this,
seconds. Just
Vimal Mojumdar, what do you think? Yeah, Bharat. Yeah, Bharat.
Just want to add only for 10 seconds. I was listening to Trisha, so just wanted to add a small quote that Gavaskar, I guess, once said. You must retire when people ask why and not why not. I guess maybe on those lines, Ashwin thought on those lines, something on those lines, and decided to retire. Just wanted to add this one small quote of Gavaskar.
Yeah, that's what I headlined with, Bharat. If you read my piece, that's what I headlined, because he sent that line to me. He said, "I want to bow out on my own terms," and he did. He did do that. Nobody told him. He bowed out on his own terms. Nobody dropped him. He did not wait for anyone to drop him. He took the call, and is entitled to taking that call. Debayon is asking about whether batters get a better treatment. Two names I'll put in for front of you: Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane. Did they get any better treatment? They did not. So it's not about bowlers or batters. And by the way, I found the messages. I had asked him, why did you stand by me? And his answer was, I did not do anything expecting anything in return. I was just feeling how you would have felt as a human being and was responding to you as a human being because I know what you stand for. That's it. That's the friendship. I have criticized Ashwin many times, and I will. If I feel something when he plays for Chennai, I will again. With Ashwin, I can have a healthy debate. I can tell him on his face, hey, this did not go right. I don't think you're right. And he can say the same thing to me, pick up the phone and say, oh, you know what? I don't think this piece of yours is fair. By the way, we did have a fight. When he was, I don't think I've said this. When 2018 Sydney, when he did not play that final test match in Sydney, I was one of the people who questioned him. I said, what happened to you? Southampton, you were not able to. And by the way, when Moeen Ali won that match for England in Southampton and Ashwin failed, I had done a conclave session for India Today group with Ashwin, and I said, you don't win India enough matches. So I asked him these kind of questions. I told him in Sydney, what happened to you? Did you get scared? And when we finally sort of met and had a chat, and he said, look, you criticize me. I've got absolutely no problems. You can tell me I'm the worst bowler in the world. I've got no problems. But you, who is a friend of mine, you know me inside out. How can you say I was scared and I shirked my responsibility for India? That was unfair. So we had a fight, we had a chat, we had whatever arguments. We made up. That's what friendship is all about. Trisha holds it against him because he didn't give her a signed book yet. He will. He had promised Trisha, by the way. I'm saying it on the show. He had promised Trisha a signed book when we did that interview. We'll get Ashwin to do it. But Gargi, can you play what Pat Cummins said about Ashwin?
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. He's obviously been a fantastic player, all around the world, really. There aren't too many finger spinners that have that kind of longevity. So, he'll go down as one of the all-time greats. Always a fantastic competitor. I had a lot of battles, against him over the years, here in Australia as well, over in India. Just a massive respect from our change room to the career that he's had.
Very, very respectful.
And remember this is what I like the most. Means not only Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyle also in an interview to Fox.
Have you sent it to Gargi? The clip, the Nathan Lyon one?
No, that was the comment. That was the comment that Nathan Lyon said spoke in Fox today after the test got over. But I did ask him, if you remember, before the first test at the Optus Stadium about his rivalry and the mutual respect they share with each other. Means the Australians, they have earned the respect not only from the Australians, the Australian cricketers, be it a Hazelwood, be it a Pat Cummins, be it a Nathan Lyon, and across the world. Means that is what Ravichandran Ashwin stands for. It means earning the respect of everyone in world cricket. Means and when you talk about the Nathan Lyon, obviously he has been a legend in his own right. But him also sharing that he learning from Ashwin, he still does. When I asked him before the first test at Optus Stadium, he still said that we share a mutual respect with each other. And one thing that I keep telling is that I keep learning whenever I watch him, and that is what Ashwin resembles. And he's a learner. He has always been the smartest cricketer in world cricket, be it with a carom ball, be it experimenting, outwitting the batsman. So that is what stands out for Ravichandran Ashwin.
Let's hear one more clip that defines Ravichandran Ashwin. We'd said we'd play many clips for you. Gargi, if you could kindly play that clip, and then I will take closing comments from Trisha, Devashish and Bharat. And 5 o'clock, we will decode more. I mean, this is a celebration. We will look into the series, draw, what does it hold for Melbourne. According to me, Boxing Day has now become the most important test in a long time. The series is on the line, the WTC is on the line, the series win on the line, this particular whatever on the line. That is why you are going. Good. Absolutely. And once you are going, India can't lose, because then I will blame you. Then because Devashish is there, Shubhan is there, Rohit is there, it's still 1-1. Now that you are going, if India loses, it's your problem. And if India wins, you take the credit also. Either way, it's yours. No problem. So we'll give you the credit also. But Gargi, play the clip. What does cricket mean to you all?
See, I think firstly, it is not. Cricket is not something that I chose as a profession because I wanted to be popular or because I wanted to be on TV or because I wanted to earn money. The reason I started playing the game was pure joy and love, and not once through my life of playing the game, right? Not once. I mean, even through all the struggles of, there are a lot of stories we had to cut out of it, Boria, to be fair, because we had to clip some of it because we had to get some finite distance in the book. Because we were told that you needed to get somewhere, because I would have probably finished it earlier than what I had finished. My whole interest in writing novels is because I'm an avid book reader, especially novels. So I mean, for me, bringing out how much I love the game, because all through the struggles of my parents to buy, the cost of a bat used to be 6,000 rupees. And the entire salary that my household used to get was about 2,000 rupees. So 2,000, 3,000 rupees. To buy those English willow bats was a huge struggle. But through the thick and thin of it, never once did my parents ever tell me that it is an investment that we'll have to go and earn back. I don't know what it meant to them. It was just the pure love. Even now, right, when I go back home to my mother or father, I just feel home. There are several times I go ahead and think, what will I do if they're not there? Because they've been there all through my life as a pillar of support and as a pillar of and how do I say that? There is no expectancy for that love that they give. And even now when I'm home, I'm currently go home, my dad will get me the 100 grams of my favorite milk sweet that I used to eat when I was 12, 13 years old. And I don't know how I would repay that back, because we all miss our parents once they're not there anymore. But for me, even writing this novel is a way of keeping them with me over a period of time.
Yeah, I understand. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. 6,000 rupees cricket bat, and his father, Trisha, you remember that story where his father got hit? Where his father got hit, put him on the scooter, went, got himself bandaged, and said, "Go play." This is what makes fairy tales and legends and stories, and Ravichandran Ashwin is no different. Ravichandran Ashwin is no different. Go read the book where he talks about, or listen to our interview where he talks about he was recuperating after a major ailment, and he was lying on the bed. Because he could hear these guys play cricket, he somehow pulled himself up and he would look from the window and try and figure out, at least he would get a feel of the game. He's mad. He's mad. Prediction: 5 years down the line, commentary, leave it, he'll be the best in the commentary box. 5 years down the line, coach of Indian cricket, Ravichandran Ashwin. Certainly, yes. One of the best technical minds as a spin, as a bowling coach, and then head coach, then maybe chairman of selection committee. And if ever a cricketer can become a BCCI boss and make a difference to cricket, multiple age groups with sports science, Ravichandran Ashwin. Closing comments. Devashish Sen, you go first.
Yeah, definitely, and that is what is said in the press conference, because he would like to be involved in cricket. Means as of now in club cricket and IPL, but obviously he would like to keep himself involved in cricket, and obviously there's a clear indication that he would like to give it back. And he also has an academy in Chennai. So definitely, I would love to see him in any sort of role in Indian cricket. Means, and who better than his technical knowledge and the mindset. Means ideal for he should be used in such a role that will only help the Indian cricket.
Trisha, by the way, at 5 p.m., who better? We have always compared these two. We were working on this interview, and we will do it. 5 p.m., Ravichandran Ashwin and Harbhajan Singh have been two people we have forever compared, match winners in their own right. We will play the interview Harbhajan Singh on Ravichandran Ashwin at 5 p.m. done by Shubhan Chakraborty just now in Harbhajan's hotel. So we will play that. We will play the Ashwin part today and the full interview tomorrow. But at 5 p.m., Harbhajan Singh exclusively speaking to Shubhan on the impact of Ravichandran Ashwin. But Trisha, closing comments from you.
I think the first word that comes to my mind when I talk about Ashwin is the grit, the perseverance, the persistence, and that is where he is not relatable, but someone that I look up to. And I think I had said that to him. You remember when you guys were sitting, because you guys were sitting beside each other in that flight, Boryada. So I had went up and Boryada was texting me. Ashwin is beside me. I said I'll come and meet him because
And then if you remember, I changed my seat because I was scared that somebody will picture us.
Exactly, absolutely, because because of the ban. So Ashwin, then I went and told him as well. So he was laughing when I said it to him. But for me, yes, these few words absolutely define Ashwin, and I think it takes a lot of courage, Boryada, to give that position up, because you are a sure shot in the squad, and he has again shown his commitment to the team. So thank you, Ravichandran Ashwin, for all the matches that you won. Thank you, Ravichandran Ashwin, for all the memories that you made, and thank you for all the inspiration that you have brought in. And why not BCCI President Ravichandran Ashwin, head coach Ravichandran Ashwin? Nothing better than that, I think. And in the commentary box, yeah, I would want actually a separate show, Ashwin's masterclass. I think it would.
And even when he's head coach, and I can bet my bottom dollar, even when he's head coach, Trisha, Devashish, Bharat and I are playing cricket on our terrace. If he sees us playing, he said, "Can I please come and bowl?" He will 100% do that. 100% he will do that. I can bet my bottom dollar. Bharat, you call him at 12 at night and you say, Ashwin, can I please discuss the carom ball? He'll give you a 1 hour masterclass on the carom ball. And then you will say, boss, I'm bored. I want to sleep. He said, no, 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 listen to me. And then somehow you convinced him to a game of table tennis or something. And God forbid if you beat him. Then he is coming to your house, Bharat Ramraj, staying in your room, throwing you out till the time you agree to play him again and get lost, lose to him. He will not take defeat. That is what Ravichandran Ashwin is. He will tell Devashish, have 10 more chocolates, but please play one more game of table tennis with me. Let me beat you. He's mad. And I love that competitive edge in him. I love that. Remember when he said, who prepares the pitches? Ashwin's press conferences, the feistiness, the fight, the story that Ravichandran Ashwin is. Bharat Ramraj, I'll give you the closing words.
Yeah, that just tells about his great about his never say die spirit or willpower, just to not give up at any point of time. So yeah, I will always remember him for his continuous improvement, for how he kept experimenting. Debasisda talked about carom ball. I would add he also had a reverse carom ball. Always remember that he used it from 2018 onwards. So that tells something about his continuous improvement. The ball that tended to skid a little bit, sometimes used to spin. And yeah, there's a lot more to talk about. See, Ravichandran Ashwin is someone, again, even when you talk about his batting, he has improved so much in relation to his batting. And the another story I want to add, someone like Steve Smith, I would always look at his feet movement and think, wow, how can you dismiss this guy because he's moving across the crease so much, shuffling across. I would always look at his feet. And here came Ravi Ashwin. I looked at his hand patterns and dismissed him. So then I understood you have to look at his hand patterns. So he's someone who always zooms in on a player's weakness, and that itself tells that here is a guy who has that kind of never say die attitude, because to zoom in on a player's weakness so for so long, so many replays. Yeah, someone who looks for continuous improvement, and he has all those qualities that you need to succeed at the highest level.
We'll end here. We'll end here. We will come back at 5. The Ashwin, it's like it's kind of old, real good quality whiskey. Not that I drink much or I've ever had. I'm a teetotaler, but just like that garnish on top. You can keep talking about Ashwin stories. At 5 p.m., we'll talk a lot more, but also about where the series is. Can India claim bragging rights going into Melbourne? Have the Indians dented Australian confidence? Will Pat Cummins own up and say he made a mistake by delaying the declaration? Is Pat Cummins and Andrew McDonald the defensive coach captain duo? Can India start putting pressure ahead of Boxing Day? Australia fell 3-0 going into Melbourne. Would be the result. It's 1-1. All to play for, and India will feel after today 88 for 7. This Australia is fragile. Except a Travis Head, whether it's a McSweeney, whether it's a Khwaja, whether it is a Manas, whether it is a Steve Smith, now down leg or tucked in, ball coming in, all of the, and Mitchell Marsh, all of the top six, exactly like India, they are fragile. So can India push home this advantage? And of course, celebrating Ashwin more. Trisha Ghoshal, Devashish Sen, Bharat Ramraj, Shubhan will also join us. We will play the Harbhajan Singh exclusive at 5 p.m. for all of you. Join us then. Gargi Raut doing the backstage for this particular one. To everybody watching, thank you very much for your time, support. Do subscribe to the platform because trust me, we do our news, we do our stories with a lot of heart and a lot of hard work. No sensationalist nonsense, but you will get the best stories and the best stuff here. Thanks for watching. Do follow us, back us, and be a part of us.